Hey, Michael.
Hello, Leslie. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Charito and Dr. Ash.
Hello,
Nice to
Michael.
see you all again. And
Good,
we will
good.
start. We will start right now. So, good morning. I will switch my camera off. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the next Industry 5.0 Power of Touch event, in which, together with the members of my global family, we write on the back of language towards wasteless word, and all the time we choose one word to talk about, and the word today is resilience. And Leslie, I have you on the top of my screen, so I will start with you. So, what came first to your mind when you hear the term resilience?
Okay, let me confirm. Good morning, everybody, that you're talking about resilience.
Resilience, yes, you are.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. um, Resilience, that's a great word. It is so resilience. When I think about that, I think about that it is part of our nature to be resilient, and the work that I do has to do with being more aware of that resilience, particularly during times when I may not be feeling as positive as I would like. I can be grateful and remind myself of the times that I have been resilient when all seems lost. And now I know that that's part of the way the universe works. Faith and fear both exist, but we can only choose one thought at a time. And whichever we're thinking about the most will come to pass. So, resilience for me is a very positive word. It reminds me of how strong we all are, and that no matter how low we get in our thinking or the way we feel, the universe always offers the exact opposite way of thinking as a choice. And so for me, it's to remind myself of how resilient I have been and I am, which is exercising that power and developing it further. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charito, you are the next one in the round. So, what came first to your mind when you hear that the term should be resilience?
Okay, good evening, Michael, Dr. Ash, and hold on, Leslie. Yeah, I like that word, Michael, because we Filipinos are known for that. The resiliency of the Filipino people. It's that state of our emotion, physical, and our faith, which we go back to its our original form. Like even if we were battered by typhoons, we run everywhere, earthquakes and all that, the faith in our hearts, our bodies, the physical ones, we tried to be resilient about it. We tackle all the crises that come to us. You know, I could say that because we are united together, it's our culture. We are resilient because we are predominantly 95%, 98% Christian Catholics, and we believe in God so much that everything has a beginning and an end. So whatever crisis that came to us, it will just go back to its another peaceful time. So resiliency is can go to for people and even on things like a rubber band is resilient, right? If you stretch it and then you pull it, it won't, you know, depending on the pull that you put into it, and it goes back to its original form. Even the nylon, even if you wrap it around, it won't cut easily, it won't break easily. So resiliency is of three things for us Filipinos. It's more on our spiritual, our maybe probably the of which we withstood the test of time on earth. It's our ability, it's the substance within us to spring back to whatever we were before all those crises and trials. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting information. And Dr. Ash, what about you and the term resilience? Sorry. What came first to your mind, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. Now, the word resilience, I think, is something that we've all got to build up these days ourselves, considering the crisis in the world. It is really referring to the quiet strength that allows individuals to endure hardship, adapt to change, and emerge strongly from adversity. It's not about avoiding difficulties, but about facing them with courage and persistence. In today's world, filled with so many uncertainties, sadly, I must say, whether personal struggles, academic challenges for youngsters, or a global crisis that we see unfolding around us today, resilience becomes an essential quality for growth and also for survival. Now, at its core, resilience is the ability to recover from setbacks. Life rarely follows a smooth path. It's the same for all of us, whether it's for you, Michael, whether it's for Leslie or even Sharito. There will be failures, there will be disappointments, and unexpected obstacles are inevitable. A resilient person does not give up hope as such when things go wrong. Instead, people must learn from their experiences. And here I would like to mention that specifically that people like to avoid talking about history. But that is where you learn from history. And therefore, you adjust your approach for the next thing that may hit you suddenly out of the blue. And therefore, that will actually continue to help you move forward. So, if you can develop this kind of a mindset, it actually transforms failure into an opportunity for self improvement rather than a reason to quit. I mentor a lot of people these days, whether they're executives or students or even my old students from years back. And most of them work in toxic environments and they get fed up completely. And I keep telling them, you must have one job in the hand. It's better than not having anything at all. You have to be able to connect to your emotional strength. It involves managing stress, staying hopeful during difficult times, and maintaining a sense of purpose. Now, people who are resilient tend to have a positive outlook, even when circumstances are challenging. There have been times when I should have been down and out, but should I say, I really didn't care. And I thought I must push myself further. And therefore, that is what has given me that positive outlook towards ignoring pain if I've sensed it at some time or the other. It's not a question of pretending that everything is fine. It's rather acknowledging the struggle that one has to go through and still choose to keep going. So it's a support system that you have to build within yourself, whether it's the family and friends. They also play a crucial role in building this emotional resilience as such. So that's all I'd like to say at the moment, Michael. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. Pussy, I am happy that we have you here. The term today is resilience. And I would like to ask you what came first to your mind when you hear the term.
Thank you, Michael, for this opportunity. The term today we discuss resilience. Okay. For me, resilience, it is a capacity to observe pressure, recognize internal and continue function after with greater streams of clarity than before. Resilience is an ability of a system, human, psychological, and physical, to withstand disturbance without collapsing. In human, resilience is not the absence of stress or pain. It is ability to experience difficulty without losing stability, process setbacks without becoming defined by them, adjust thinking and behavior to fit new realities. Resilience is not just returning to the original state. It is changing in response to stress in a way that improves future performance. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Jose. And I would like to ask Leslie in the second round of questions. Leslie, do you think there is any relationship between resilience and degrowth?
Between resilience and growth?
Degrowth. So the opposite of growth.
Oh, okay. Well, you're talking about the law of polarity here. So it's one of the universal laws. And there are 7 of them, and they all mix with each other. But what you're pointing to is actually the law of vibration and rhythm, which says that for every high there'll be a matching low vibrationally, which means that we're growing in conscious awareness or we're disintegrating in any one moment. We're either moving forward with learning or we are coasting and just sitting back and not learning. So there is growth and degrowth, and resilience for each of us is not static. It grows, as I wrote in the chat, like a muscle in direct proportion to its use. To practice what everyone has said here, to think something differently will change our behavior, our physiology, the chemical cocktail in our brain that creates new neural pathways. This is all done with what we're thinking. And unfortunately, conventional training of therapists, psychologists, and universities have excluded thinking and the mind. And so while the information is available, because it is not part of conventional training, you have therapists, et cetera, people with degrees in neuro, et cetera, who have no clue that it is the mind and what you're thinking that actually causes everything to happen in the body and in the brain. So it's on a continuum. That is, that as you practice catching yourself and reminding yourself that there's the other side of the down, which is the up, and that is the law of rhythm. So when you realize and understand and live in a world where you know to look up toward our higher side, toward faith, however you want to articulate it, the sooner that you can realize, and typically it's in your body, you start to feel bad. All you really have to do is go back to what you are thinking. And that is the key, because thought is cellular in its vibration. And so the growing and the degrowing of resilience is a very natural thing. And as humans, we are able to teach ourselves and create neural pathways through repetition of thought that has us lean more toward being more resilient. It's resilience is an aspiration. It's something that we want to lean toward, to remind ourselves of. And that's why I mentioned gratitude. That's one way I can shake myself out of if I feel a little low or I'm questioning something that I can sense is certainly not positive. Catching yourself, thinking the exact opposite, and thinking it, generating it, and not just repeating it. Actually, it takes the same kind of intensity and persistence as prayer. When prayer works, it has to do with your the person praying, they're generating a certain way of feeling, which is an elevated vibration. And a high cellular vibration is positive, happy, and it is not our default. So it's this constant movement on a continuum of resilience. The more times we practice it, the less time we stay in anxiety and feeling bad, because we are really looking at how we're thinking, which is the new buzzword, which is metacognition. And I'll leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leslie. Charito, do you think there is any relationship between resilience and silence? Resilience
Okay.
and silence.
Okay. Good evening, Jose. I did not see him a while ago. Resilience and silence.
Yes.
There. Your question is they are related. Something.
Yes. If there is any relation between these two.
Probably, but I cannot pinpoint it like eye to eye. But you see, one can be resilient to something silently. One does not have to make the people know. You just do it. Like the Filipino people, when we were resilient with all the things that happened to us, we were not doing it. The resiliency, we tried to stand up despite all those when we cower in fear, we cried, we were battled by all those things. We did not cry aloud for people outside our country to know about this. By ourselves we do it, we did it. But at the end of the day, things like this which are so huge and could be also be possible in other countries, people um, look at us, people listen. But when you say silence, it's they're very related, I should say, Michael, because when one is resilient and it involves a lot of people, it becomes known. So the silence is not there anymore. But while doing it, you're silent among yourself. I could not explain it well. I am sort of, but I can feel it, when You are resilient when you are facing problem, like in myself. I had all those negative things, but I was resilient because I have faith within me. I did not have to say it loud that I was strong, that I live up because, when I was down, even in business, I was there. You don't have to be loud, but you only have to feel. Yes, you said it's mindset, according to Dr. Ash. Yes, it's a mindset. And when you have a mindset, you don't have to be loud about it. People can see it or others may not. Like you have the feeling inside that when you are down, there is no other way but up. Do you have to be loud about it? Just do it. Try to inch your way up until you reach the top. So that is the silence in the resiliency. The mindset is there, the physical stamina, the faith, the emotional upheavals within you that push you up, and the desire to achieve. You don't have to people to know about that. You just do it by yourself, and that's silence for me. As far as in my opinion. Back to you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Charito. Dr. Ash, do you think you will add something to this connection or relation between resilience and silence?
Absolutely, I do believe that I can add a lot to this because um, the spellings may be virtually similar, but resilience, like I've mentioned before, is something you have to build up emotionally within yourself. And the reason why is because sometimes people say very hurtful things. And therefore, I don't know how this word was brought about, resilience as such, but you could pronounce it as resilience. Well, maybe, but it's the wrong pronunciation. It works out as resilience. But silence is often misunderstood as emptiness. Now, it carries a depth that words rarely achieve. In today's world, where it's absolutely noisy, conversations, notifications, endless streams of information, silence becomes a rare and valuable space. And therefore, it is our attempt, or my attempt, should I say, to bear with it all. And that bearing with all the noise builds up my resilience, should I say, to be able to be silent rather than shouting out, for God's sake, let's have some peace around. Because today, you will all know that Pakistan stands on the front line of that very word that, Michael, you and I conjured up, peace. We are trying to bring about peace in the world where we find that the words kill and bomb and I don't know, I've never heard of such leaders who can't seem to find clarity in whatever they say. They seem to be distracted from all the external influences involved in talking about war and bombs and whatever. So therefore, there is a combination, I would say, between resilience and silence. You have to let your mind settle, let let your emotions be held at a distance, should I say, and try and understand what's happening around you in a very honest fashion. We've all been taught that battling against anyone else, even as children, is wrong. Battling even with words. Now, sometimes silence, of course, obviously means the absence of sound. It's a presence of awareness. In quiet moments, people actually reflect on their experiences, decisions, and desires. It allows room for creativity to emerge. So, therefore, we have to develop that kind of resilience in our mind where we find that there's so much of chaos around us. The news these days, I used to be very fond of listening to the news. In fact, in my office, I used to have a television screen with the news constantly on. One had to know what is happening. But today it's nonsense, and I told them to take my television out of my office. And therefore, like where you may find that various ideas are born in the midst of all that noise, but in the stillness of having no sound, that is where you can actually build your resilience without any interference as such. And that is what gives my imagination the space to breathe.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ash. I think that the decision to take television out of our, not only of the workspace, but out of our life, it's a good decision. But Usi, you have heard about the connection between resilience and silence, resilience, sorry, and silence. Do you see any other connection of the term resilience, sorry, with some other term which more resonate with you personally?
So as a question, I'm not understanding your question, Michael. Would you repeat it?
Yes, if there is another term which you will connect with the term resilience.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have. Another term that connect resilience is power of touch. You know, Michael, let me discuss more about the term resilience. And there is two terms here, resilience and silence. So the center of this term, there is connection, power of connection, or power of touch. So resilience is the ability to stay strong, calm, and focus even when we face challenges. It is not about avoiding problems, but about handling them in the right way. So I told you that we have an important word here that connects this word resilience together, because we need to connect between human, ecological, and machine. So the center here we have a connection that use power of touch. So let me discuss more about the silence. On the other hand, it's not just about not speaking. Silence can be a powerful tool. It gives us time to think, control our emotions, and to choose the right response instead of reacting quickly. So We discuss resilience and silence. But important things we must all of us to make sure here we need to have a connection, power of touch. When we combine resilience and silence, we become more effective in difficult situations. Silence helps us stay calm, and resilience helps us move forward. Silence must be used wisely. If we stay silent out of fear or problems, it can make things worse. If we use silence to think and stay in control, it becomes strength. So today we have a good word we discuss, resilience. You know, Michael, in many situations today, there is a war. Example, Middle East, there is a war. And other parts of Asia and Africa. So when we stand with resilience and silence, it is a powerful tool to solve our problem. In our daily life and work, especially when we're dealing with people, being calm and choosing the right moment to speak show true resilience. Resilience keeps us strong, and silence helps us to stay in control. When we use together, they help us handle challenges with confidence and professionalism. So we must stand with these two words, resilience and silence, in order to get the best solution, how to solve the problem, how to make our world be a better place for all, and how we prevent waste from it is happening. Waste war and other form of waste, physical, social. Thank you, Michael, for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Jose. And I would like to tell you all we have 6 minutes left. Leslie, do you think that the giants, and you know I call giants all the big organization and players, United Nations countries and so on, big companies, do you think that the giants are resilient?
That's a good question. Um, I think they can be. They're as resilient as the people that are at the helm of those giant organizations. So I think they could be, but the idea of getting all those heads that make the decisions for those giant companies, it's going to depend on their personal resilience, their personal values, standards, and ideals. And what we have seen thus far is that money is it's money first, people second. When we drill down to it, you either lean toward people first, money second, or money first, people second. Now, I would say my experience of the heads of these giant companies is in general, based on their behavior and whatever we can see, is that they are very much money first and people second. That is who they are. So until such time that virtues and values and integrity become stronger than the glut and the love of money, it would be more difficult for these giants to be resilient because they'd have to give up some of their money, and they don't want to do that. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Leslie. We have 4 minutes left. And Charito, I asked Leslie about giants, but what about artificial intelligence? Do you think it is resilient?
Artificial intelligence,
Yes.
AI.
Yes.
Considering they are not human, they will always be resilient for me. The handlers and all those, where they originated. You know, this is a very huge topic, Michael, because resiliency is that of a man, a person, and and also the company itself. But the company are made up of people. But AI, even if they emanated from the brains of the brilliant people around the world, they will only come to that. I mean, how could they be resilient if the people where they started from? But I don't know much about AI. I know that those who made this a reality in our world, they did it for money, fast everything. So time for resilience and time for silence. I don't know. I cannot answer you directly, but I'll think about it, Michael. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Charito. And we have 2 minutes left. And you, Charito, so as you, Leslie, and every one of you, Dr. Ash, Usyk, you put it on the table because it is about us as human beings. It is us who take the resilience to the level in which we can. But the question is whether we will. And I do believe we are on the stage in which the dream will become reality, and not in financial perspective or economic perspective. I do believe that us humans can end the wars which are led by giants. Just the humans are being killed. And the same for AI, which substitute more and more people in the work environment without even thinking about it, because it has no brain, the same as it has no heart. You know, I choose the term because just an hour before we started, I was in a school delivering the next webinar on Industry 5 or seminar on Industry 5.0. And I just get this question about resilience from the students. So let me wish you, because there is the last minute, let me thank you first for your time and wish you that your time is free of waste and wasting in all its forms, that you stay safe, you are strong, healthy, and you remain humans, which you are proving in every single moment of your life. And let the resilience be part of this life of yours as a role model for the new world. Thank you and see you next week. Bye bye.
Michael, I would like to say something
Yes,
to you.
yes.
You yourself is a resilient man. You stood up for several decades for this topic, for this group, the wasteless world. You are very